Good afternoon. Someone asked me earlier what was the worst wedding I'd ever been to. It's a strange conversation to have at an event like this, I think. But I've been to a few weddings and quite a few funerals recently. We'll get on to more about that later, but there is a synergy between what happens at events like that and what happens with document management and people who use documents, store them, manipulate them, and AV. You might think that they're two completely separate fields, but I like to join things together so as they tend to make sense. What we're showing here is we've got a product called Surface Hub. It's made by Microsoft. Microsoft famous for making things that are this size. You can carry in a bag. You can work on anywhere, which is great. Then 3 years ago, they decided to make something that you couldn't carry, which is this, and its larger brother, which is 84 inches wide, slightly bigger and slightly more difficult to get into rooms. But how does it work with documentation and how people manage that and how people are using that, looking at them as assets? How many people in this room work on nothing but a desktop screen all day? Okay. So is anyone else in the room using larger screens as part of their normal working routine or interactive screens? So we've got 1, 2 people. So if you look at a room this size, actually, that's not an awful lot. If you think that working on something like this, it's exactly the same as sitting at your desk, but you can stand here with 3 or 4 people and talk about ideas. You can draw whatever you like on the screen. You can have a video call with someone on the other side of the planet and discuss your document and what you're doing with it, rather than having to look at it, send a revision, wait for them to come back, phone them, they're at lunch, they're having coffee. We're getting rid of all of that, or we try to, and that's how we work with people to try and make things a little bit more flexible, a little bit more intuitive, and so they can share and work at the same time, no matter where they are in the world. So I'll show you how it works. You'll notice I don't use any tricks. It's all like I'm wearing short sleeves. It's a little bit Paul Daniels while I'm still alive. I've got my Debbie McGee in the corner here, Mark. And what I'll do is I'll just show you. So to make it work, it's really simple. I can just pick up the pen and I can come in and we automatically go into a whiteboard. This is Microsoft Whiteboard. It's available in the store for free. It's available for your mobile for free. So you can work on your mobile while you're sat on the train, you can work on your laptop while you're in a meeting if you're bored, or you can just come up to it as a group or on your own and start writing. And as you can see, it's a really smooth, consistent way of writing. There are a choice of pens, like you'd expect, and it makes it really, really simple. Yeah, I can do my signature all day. Makes no sense to anybody. But what you can do with this as it moves forward is you can bring in templates. So if you're doing things like SWOT analysis, working as a group, trying to go through ideas, or as Microsoft like to call it now, ideation, you can just carry on working as a group. So it's all about that, just being able to walk up to the board. I can move it out of the way. I can carry on going. I can do lines. We can do whatever we want. There's a ruler for people who like to draw straight lines. Very popular with architects. We can put that across there. We can import images into it. We can work on it however we want. So when I say I can use this using other devices, so I have a sign-in option here. So obviously a lot of the stuff that you do is based in the cloud. The great thing is with this, you can access all of your cloud services because we have Edge on it. You can't put Google on currently because obviously the people with the M word don't like the people with the G word and vice versa. So we can log into Google if we like, but we do it through Edge, which is the normal way. So I can actually now sign into this whiteboard, and that then takes me across all of the different devices. So I'm signing into it. I can access my whiteboards that I've done on my laptop. I can access the ones I've done on my phone. Makes it really, really simple. The other thing it allows me to do is I can go into my Office 365 account. So I don't have to even bring my laptop to the meeting room. I'll show you how easy it is. You can see all of the buttons are very, very obvious. My view is if you can see the button, you can touch it. And I'll carry on with that phrasing. So I can go to sign in to see my meetings, and I'll just say sign in. And anyone who's trying to crib my password, don't worry, it's a demo account. And I just say, yes, I want to sign in, and I put my name. Sorry for standing in front. If I make any spelling mistakes, I'm sure Mark will tell me while I'm doing this. So if you were going to have a meeting, you would actually do this in advance if you wanted, but I just find it's nice to show you this while I'm here. Because I'm using two-factor authentication, if any of you use that, it now sends me a code to my phone, and I just put that in simply. And it's quite big, so I can do it without my glasses. Yeah. My glasses are there just in case. And I'm in. And now this is just going into the cloud, and it's going to my 365 account. It's finding all my mail, my appointments, my documents. I can get everything I need. And here's what I was working on this morning. So I've been looking at some pricing for a new product. All my presentations are there. So if I now wanted to just come into the room and show you a barcode presentation about anything, I can just look here for what I was working on this morning. PowerPoint is embedded on the device. I can go in straight away and I get my PowerPoint up on the screen and I can present it to you. That's all very easy. But you might be in Manchester. Dan might be in Manchester. I'm sorry about that. So we'll go to Skype while that's trying to log on. And what I'll do is I'll call Dan, who's in Manchester, who's going to be Mark. And all I'm doing is, I know that he's in a room that's called Demo Room, because that's the name of your office. You're there, you've got 10 people there, you're showing them all these things. It's very nice. I want to have a call. It's not really complicated. I just invite you. You're in my contacts already, so it makes it really simple. I get a ringtone, which is always reassuring. I'll mute it because Mark's in the same room. And we've got our Skype call started. If I wanted to, good God, I could make it full screen. That's slightly frightening, isn't it, really? For those who've watched Baywatch or Crime Watch, this is how it appears. But the great thing is, with this, moving forward, this will be Teams, so it'll be a Teams device, if any of you have started to migrate to Microsoft Teams. The great thing there is, if I'm working from home, I don't want everyone to see that I've got a lovely garden. A, because it's rubbish on camera, because all the light's behind you. I can dynamically mask that so it only sees my head, which is really nice. Same if you're in the office and you've got a whiteboard behind you, God forbid, covered in post-it notes, documentation about HR, who's going, who's coming in. You can mask that out in the background with just one press of a button. So Mark's here now. I can make him a little bit smaller. I can add more people in. Doesn't like my barcode presentation, so we'll try something else. See if it likes any other PowerPoint. So while Mark's there, I can actually share what I'm doing on my screen. See, I've got this little button at the top that says present. If I present, I get a little yellow line. And what Mark sees at the other end now, or what Dan would see if he was in the office, is he sees everything that's on my screen. And he's just going to show you that, just so as you can see that I'm not fibbing. If I open the whiteboard, even live, you can see that moving. I can carry on drawing. The great thing is, because this is assigned to my account, it's on my 365, if I'd created a calendar invite for a meeting, as soon as I started this, Skype would call everybody that was on the meeting. So it makes things much easier. I can sign into the whiteboard, which is what we were talking about, and you can see, because I'm already signed into 365, it knows I'm here, and I just say yes, continue. It will sign me in. And what I can do now is, earlier on, while I was outside, I took some pictures with my phone, just put them into my whiteboard that's on my phone. This shows me all my other whiteboards. So this is stuff that we've done recently, and then it will open, again from this device. Under normal circumstances. If I stop presenting, Mark. There we go, 3 times this morning we've done that, and it's opened on here for everybody. No, it doesn't want to do it. Let's try a different one. Oh, there we go. So it's just that one, I think, with the picture. So there's one that we did earlier, and it can open straight away. Same if I create one on my laptop. So we're still in the call. Again, I can share that content. I can give Mark control so as he can present back to me, which again is fantastic. If I go into documents, if I go to Edge, I'm going to lose the call now because I don't want Mark anymore. Thank you, Mark. And then if you could sign in for me, what we'll do is we'll show you that it works with anything cloud-based because you earlier on signed into your system, didn't you? Yep. Would you like to do that for us while we're doing it? So if I opened the PowerPoint, if the PowerPoint hadn't have been playing around, we could have made changes on the PowerPoint slide and it saves a version in my 365 account in the cloud. So I always have my original and I have one I've changed. If like here, we're going to go into the document system. Again, we can look at everything. It's just like doing it on your desktop, but more people get access. And again, here you can see we've put it out to a bigger screen, which is something that a lot of people do now in rooms. You have a small screen that people can stand and work on. And then you just have a repeater screen so more people have access to everything that you're doing. And this is just to show that we can do it. So I wasn't fibbing, saying we could get into it through the cloud. So the idea that you can come up and work on a screen as, say, 2 or 3 people, rather than huddled around a desk, is a much better way of working, we think. And more people are going that way. If you wait till next March, there'll be the new version of this, which will actually work in portrait or landscape. So if you wanted to go PDF and stand and look at it as though it's a PDF in 50-inch size screen, you can do that. And then rotate it back into landscape and work on it normally. Still have that touch ability, still have the ability to use Skype or Teams as it will be by then. Didn't tell you I brought 2 assistants today, did I? I do apologise. And as you can see, it's a really intuitive way. We've not done any secret training on this. We've only done it twice. But it's really intuitive. If I wanted to send that, I can snapshot that and send that as a view to people while we're doing the video call. Thanks, can I just use it now? So we can do that all day. The other thing I can do is if I walk in with a laptop, I've got my laptop here, I can mirrorcast to it, which is going to what you were saying, Colin. So I can just do the Control and Windows key, and my laptop looks for anything called Demo Hub, because that's the name. I don't have to do anything else. The screen connects. And that's my laptop then, when it decides to, connected to it. Sometimes working with technology is like working with animals. Don't do children and animals in presentations or technology. Normally that would just connect. Just thinking about it. Here we go. Mirrorcast is not the most stable thing in the world. As you can see, it takes a little bit of time, but Microsoft are working on that now. Again, it's another way of going into the room, not taking any cables, and just presenting as you go through. So I've got 1 minute left. At the start, we talked about weddings and funerals, how people use technology and how documentation is linked. What I can do is if I disconnect this, because we can do that. I can come back, I can go to anything on the screen. I have like File Explorer here, so I can open documents on the product. I can walk in with a USB stick like this, and we can just plug it into the side of the device. And again, you can access files. I haven't got any wedding pictures, but we were talking earlier about the best wedding that you've been to, or about going to funerals. We had a funeral in November, which is my son's funeral. We had to work out how we could capture what everyone's thoughts were on the day. So it was a little bit tricky. We thought about pictures. We thought about Book of Remembrance, all very flabby, all very, everyone was doing the same. We took a hub, because we're all technical anoraks in the family. And what we did was, we actually just created a whiteboard on the screen, and then we had everybody walk up and sign the screen. So we had created an infinite whiteboard with all of the comments from all of his friends, which was quite nice. But it's not just stuck there, it's a document. We've taken it from the screen, it's in the cloud, it's on a website that he's got, and it's in other places. So as I said at the start, AV and documentation are quite linked no matter where you go. And that's it. Thank you.